I was busy serving customers at the restaurant when the most handsome guy I'd ever seen walked in. I swear he looked like a prince. Calm down, Sam. I smiled and said, "May I take your order, sir?" He looked at me and replied, "Yeah, I'd like to. Wow, you look absolutely beautiful." Then, out of nowhere, he took my hand and placed it on his chest. "Can you feel how fast my heart is beating?" Yeah, I whispered. This must be love at first sight. But then I asked suspiciously, "Are you bored, or is this some kind of bet with your friends?" He chuckled. "No, I'm serious. I'm actually looking for my girlfriend. I saw her come into this restaurant a while ago." "Oh, what does she look like?" I asked. Suddenly he pulled out his phone and showed me a photo, except it was the front camera showing my face. "False alarm," he grinned. "I think I just found her." "Wait, me?" I was so caught off guard I stumbled backward and nearly fell. "Hi, I'm Sam, a part-time waitress and a full-time weirdo. Please like and subscribe." I couldn't focus on work for the rest of my shift because that guy, Austin, just stayed there, staring at me the whole time. And before he left, he gave me a huge tip. I ran after him. "Is this a joke? Are you trying to win me over with money? Because that's not going to work." He suddenly looked shy. "No, I just wanted to get you to come after me and talk to me." His sudden shyness was actually kind of cute. "I'll be dreaming of you tonight," he said with a wink before finally getting into his limo. I spent the entire night wondering if that really just happened. The next day at school, my best friend Garrett came running up to me, practically screaming, "Girl, you will not believe who just joined our class. He is the most gorgeous guy I've ever seen. Total snack." Garrett was a year older than me, but since we worked at the same restaurant, we were besties for life. I rolled my eyes. Cool, I guess. I didn't think anyone could be hotter than that rich guy from last night, though. "Oh my God, he's coming this way," Garrett squealed. "Okay, Sam, stay calm." I turned, and my jaw dropped. No way, it was him, the guy from the cafe. What are you doing here?" I asked. "I just transferred here. I'm a senior now." "This can't be real. Are you stalking me?" He just smiled, took my hand, and kissed it. "See you around, beautiful." When he walked away, Garrett looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. "Girl, you have so much explaining to do." So I told him everything that happened the night before. He freaked out. "You're lucky you're prettier than me." "So what's your plan?" he asked. "What plan?" Duh. He clearly likes you. If I were you, I'd marry him on the spot." "There is no plan," I said. "He's probably just messing around. I'm not falling for it." But apparently Garrett was right. The guy's name was Austin. He came to the restaurant every single day just to see me. At school, he gave me all his attention. Garrett turned into a literal ball of joy every time he saw him, but the other girls were definitely not impressed. One day, Austin invited me to dinner. When I finally said yes, he took me to an airstrip. "Is that your private jet?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. "I heard there's an amazing restaurant in Korea. I wanted to try it. With you." "Korea? You want to fly to another country just to have dinner?" He smiled. "Only the best for someone as lovely as you, Sam." I was still in shock when we finally landed. "Austin, you could have any girl you want, someone prettier, richer. So why me? You don't even know anything about me." He looked me in the eyes and said, "I told you, it was love at first sight. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I just want to take care of you." He leaned in gently and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. Why was I resisting this? He was sweet, caring, and he really liked me. Maybe I should give this a chance. Before long, Austin and I were officially a couple, and honestly, he seemed too good to be true. He took me to yacht parties, concerts, and fancy dinners with his high society friends. Everyone was so stylish, so perfect, and I felt like I had to constantly look flawless. Full makeup, designer clothes, perfect manners. I did like Austin, truly. But in his world, I felt like I had to play a role, like I wasn't fully myself. And despite everything, there was still something missing between us. One night, I opened up to my mom about how I felt. She listened quietly, then shared something personal. "When I first met your dad," she said, "I felt this rush, like my heart was pounding so hard I couldn't breathe. Right then and there, I knew he was the one." That heart-pounding rush, that's what was missing with Austin. The next day at school, I went looking for him and found him in the locker room. But he looked completely different. His hair was now dyed black, and there was a sleek, edgy tattoo along the side of his neck. He looked stunning, striking, almost irresistible. Was this the rush my mom had talked about? Without thinking, I tiptoed closer and kissed him softly on the cheek. "Wow, what was that for?" he asked. "You look irresistible today," I said with a smile. "Your new look really suits you." But instead of smiling back, he just gave me a confused stare and walked away. What was that about? Feeling awkward and a bit hurt, I followed him. He looked annoyed. "Why are you following me?" he snapped. "Are you okay? Did I do something wrong?" "You kissed me, without my permission." "It was just a kiss on the cheek," I said, confused. "And you're my boyfriend." "In your dreams, sister." My heart dropped. "Wow," I said, backing away. "I didn't realize you were such a jerk." "Yeah," he said coldly. "I am. Now leave me alone." I went to the bleachers to compose myself, and there he was again, holding a bouquet of flowers. Flowers for the lovely lady. I almost choked when I saw him with his blonde hair again. "You're Austin, my boyfriend, right?" Why wouldn't I be? I felt so confused. I grabbed his hand and dragged him inside the building. Just then, I bumped straight into someone. It was the hotter Austin. "First you want to kiss me and now you want to feel my chest? Control yourself, please." I looked at the two back and forth. "You have a twin brother?" Ding, ding, ding. Austin apologized for not telling me that minor detail earlier. He told me that Apollo got kicked out of his school abroad and just got here today. He then turned to his twin. "Don't mess with my girl again, or else." Maybe you should tell her that she kissed me and told me that I looked more handsome with darker hair. "Hey, I didn't know that my boyfriend has a twin." Austin pulled me aside to a corner. "So you find him more attractive?" "You both literally look the same. It's not a big deal." "Fine, but I need you to stay away from him. He's just trouble." Why would I want to stick with him anyway? But the universe wanted to make my life complicated. Apollo failed a grade in his previous school, so he was put in the same class as mine. And worse, he drove my seatmate away and sat beside me. "Excuse me, but why here? There are a lot of vacant seats at the back. Just doing you a favor in case you missed my brother." Unbelievable. I told Garrett about the mess and he just laughed at me. "Oh girl, I think you're in deep trouble." Was I? One time I was reading in the library when Austin came and sat next to me. "Hey, I've been looking for you. What you doing?" "Just checking on some disappearing cases in the Bermuda Triangle." Do you really think there are sea monsters down there? Why are you reading such nonsense? Are you a child? Suddenly, he snatched the book away from me and tossed it aside. I was furious. You didn't have to throw the book away. You should focus on more fun things. Like me, books are lame. That explains why you're stupid. He turned to see Apollo reading a book behind us. What did you say? Oh, I'm not talking to you, bro. I'm reading something out loud. Before Austin could throw a fit, Apollo got up and left. Austin was mumbling something about how awful his twin was, and here I was, thinking about how attractive he looked as he held that book. The next few days were confusing for me. The more I hung out with Austin, the more I realized that we had nothing in common. One time, he forced me to play tennis with him, and just a few seconds in, I already felt like a rotten vegetable. He was into active sports, while all I wanted was to sleep. One night, he took me to a party. While he was dancing away with his friends, I sat alone in a corner, feeling completely out of place. Why did the music have to be so loud? I pulled out my phone just then and was surprised to see the news. A meteorite had been captured on camera, and the location where it landed seemed to be nearby. I left the club immediately and headed straight to the site. As I walked toward a clearing, I spotted a guy studying some marks on the ground. When he looked up at me, I was shocked. Apollo, what are you doing here? Are you following me? He replied, Duh, I came to see the meteorite. We're late though. The NASA guys already took it. It landed right over there. What a bummer. There might even be an alien around here somewhere. Are you joking? Or do you actually believe in aliens? I might sound weird, he said, but yeah, I believe we're not alone in this universe. There's life out there. Governments are just hiding the truth from us. For the first time ever, he smiled, and I felt that strange rush again. We started talking, and I was actually having a really good time. He offered me some food, and while we were eating, I suddenly burped out loud. Oops, sorry. He just laughed and said, I'm sorry for being a jerk when we first met. I just thought it was cute that you mistook me for my brother, so I decided to tease you. It wasn't a big deal. Soon after, we both lay down on the grass and looked up at the sky. We kept talking about aliens and other conspiracy theories. Suddenly, he turned to me, and that heart-pounding feeling came rushing back. I'm really glad I'm not alone in believing all this stuff. I thought I was the only one. Me too, I said. I was getting lost in his eyes when I suddenly snapped out of it. It's getting late. My mom's gonna kill me. He dropped me off at home, and once he was gone, I realized I was still smiling. Maybe I was just happy to find someone with similar interests. Yeah, that must be it. Since then, Apollo and I became closer at school, and we never ran out of things to talk about. During class, we'd secretly pass notes to each other. What do you think really happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? Do you think Bigfoot is real? Where did Amelia Earhart disappear to? Which really came first, the chicken or the egg? And it turned out we both loved My Story Animated too. We'd always watch the newest episode on YouTube together during recess. Eventually, Austin noticed how close we had become, and he looked pissed. Apollo is trying to steal you away from me. What are you talking about? He's your brother. I should get along with him too, right? Whatever. Remember, you're mine. You're making it sound like you own me, and I don't like that. Suddenly, he kissed me gently on the cheek. I didn't mean it like that, babe. I just like you a lot. and Apollo's always wanted everything I have. He might be getting close to you just to piss me. Somehow that didn't sound like Apollo to me, and I liked having him as my friend. One night, Apollo visited me at the restaurant and waited for my shift to end before taking me somewhere. I want to show you something. Sometime later, we arrived at a field near their mansion. This is where I last saw Mom, and the next day she was gone. I saw some marks of a spaceship right here. I was just 5 then, so I made myself believe that aliens took her away. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sure your mom is in a better place now. I wish they'd taken me with her too. Someone would be sad if they did, you know. I don't think so. I'm useless and just a pain in the butt. I'm pretty sure someone will be sad. Sam? Yeah. You know what it means when I go missing one day? What are you saying, and why are you saying this? Just in case. His words gave me goosebumps, but before I could say anything more, he changed the topic and said he'd drop me home. I just couldn't stop thinking about Apollo all the time. I was falling for him. With him, I could just be me. I had to talk to Austin and end things. It wasn't fair to lead him on. I pulled him into an empty classroom the next day. We need to talk about something. Save that for later. I need you to join us for dinner tonight. My dad is really excited to meet you. But please don't make an excuse. I've had a really lovely dinner all planned out for us. Please. I sighed and said yes. The next thing I knew, he sent a team of stylists to my house to dress me up like the richest girl in town. When I finally arrived at the restaurant, my jaw almost dropped upon seeing his dad and stepmom. They looked like royalty. Mom, Dad, I would like you to meet Samantha, my girlfriend. You're even prettier than he described. Welcome to the family, sweetheart. Welcome to the what now? As we started eating, someone came and sat next to me. I almost choked on my orange juice when I realized who it was. Apollo. Why was he here? Sorry I'm late. But no one seemed to care. Their dad continued talking about how perfect Austin was and how he trusted him to be the next CEO of his company. As Austin was trying to be extra sweet to me, Apollo suddenly held my hand from under the table. Apollo, honey, you should also find a girlfriend as beautiful as Samantha. Unfortunately for him, no one can be as beautiful as my Sam. Then maybe you can break up and just let me be with her. Excuse me? Before things could get out of hand, the waitress suddenly spilled a whole pitcher of juice, messing up Austin's shirt. This is unacceptable. Dad, let's go to a better restaurant. We could go to another city. I can have the helicopter ready in minutes. They were unbelievable. I excused myself to the restroom to calm myself down, and as I got out, I noticed the waitress crying at the back. Apollo was talking to her. Here, please take this as an apology for my family's behavior. He was giving her a huge tip, and I felt my heart melting. How was he so different from his family? When I went back, I told them I needed to go home because I wasn't feeling well. As Austin was driving me home, I finally confronted him. I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. What? Are you breaking up with me? I tried, but it's just not working. This is about the stupid waitress? Watch your words. I'm a waitress too, in case you forgot. This is about Apollo, right? You like him. What are you talking about? He's a hopeless case, Sam. There's no future with him. He's always depressed. Do you even know why he's like that? It's because of Mom. I lost her too, but I moved on eventually. He's just being dramatic. I'm here. I'm better than him by 100 times. Not everyone is as insensitive as you are, Austin. After everything I did for you, you choose that loser over me? I'm literally perfect, and you're just a dumb waitress. I suddenly slapped him hard, and then I stormed out of his car. Jerk. He ignored me after that, but I couldn't care less. What was bothering me was the fact that Apollo started avoiding me too, on purpose. Thanks to Garrett for keeping me sane, or else I would have already lost my mind. One day, our class had to do a team-building exercise by the lakeside. During one of the games, I ended up on the same team with both brothers, of all people. We were on a raft and had to collect 20 plastic balls from the water in just 3 minutes. It was incredibly awkward because both of them were acting like I was invisible. As I reached out for one of the balls, a sudden wave hit the raft and I fell into the water. I didn't know how to swim. I kicked around frantically, and just when I felt like I couldn't hold on any longer, I felt strong arms wrap around my waist. I got you, Apollo said as he quickly swam me back to the shore. He looked down at me, clearly worried. Just then, Austin came running over and pushed Apollo aside. Sam, are you okay? I'll take you to the hospital. No, I'm fine now. I thought I was going to lose you. I still love you, you know. But I don't love you, Austin. I thought I had made things clear to Apollo, but he silently walked away. Had I been misreading the signs all along? I was so sure he liked me too, but he was just running away. When I went back to school after the weekend, I noticed Apollo wasn't in class. He didn't show up the next day either, and I had no choice but to ask Austin about it. He went back to the US because he got bored here. Get over it. Get over it? I couldn't believe he would leave like that. Weeks turned into months, and still, no word from him. My mom and Garrett tried everything to cheer me up, but every night I found myself thinking about him. I often visited our special spot in the field, hoping he'd magically appear. But he never did. Months later, Austin came up to me and said he had something to tell me. Apollo didn't leave because he was bored. Sam, he's been sick since he was a kid, and his condition got worse. He had to return to the US for treatment. I stared at him in shock. Yeah, I was mad at you for breaking up with me, but I kept the truth from you. He didn't want you to know. He's completely fine now, and he came back a week ago. You should go see him. Tears welled up in my eyes. Why are you being nice to me? I thought you hated me. No, never. I can be a jerk sometimes, but I'm really not that bad. I want you to be happy, and my brother too. I gave him a quick hug and rushed straight to the field, the one Apollo had taken me to before, and there he was, sitting in the exact same spot. It was really him. Apollo? Sam, I thought you were gone for good. Well, the aliens tried to take me, he smiled, but I didn't go with them. I can't just leave someone behind. I wonder who that is. I'll give you a clue. She's a beautiful weirdo who made my life brighter just by being in it. Please, don't ever leave me again. I won't. I love you, Apollo. And I want to solve all the mysteries of the universe with you, forever. I love you too. And yes, let's start with the sea monsters. He laughed, and then finally kissed me.